Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. It is Brandon again, and I want to do another video on creatine. Yes, I know. I've done a ton of videos on this before. All of your favorite YouTubers have probably done videos on creatine in the past as well, but I want to take just a little bit different of a look at it, specifically with creatine today, but hopefully in the future, you can kind of take these same principles we're going to discuss and take a look at other things you might be thinking of supplementing in. So for creatine, again, although I've done a ton of videos on it, it still tends to be a relatively hot topic. I actually mention it in both my top supplement scams as well as my top supplements bang for your buck. And I got a lot of great feedback, both pro what I said and con what I said. So what I wanted to do in this video today was put a little bit different of a spin on creatine that I haven't seen too much before out there on YouTube, and that is it actually worth the price of admission? Now, in order to kind of get my point, what I want to do is give you first an example, so hopefully we're on the same page. So let's say, for instance, that a gum manufacturer sells you a piece of gum, and that piece of gum you end up chewing for a length of time, and you eventually burn something like 5 calories. Well, that gum manufacturer then sees this, goes back to their marketing department and says, hey, you know what? This person burned 5 calories chewing my gum. We know that a caloric deficit is needed to lose weight. So if this person just happened to chew gum to the point where they were in a caloric deficit, it could potentially help them lose weight over time if they kept doing it. Now, I know that's kind of a stretch, but the marketing department then comes out with this brand new label that says so-and-so gum fat burner, helps you lose weight. And there's probably going to be a little bit of an asterisk right there next to it too, and they're really reaching for that, but technically they are right. Eating that piece of gum, that 5 calories, if that 5 calories gives you a swing, creates a deficit, it will eventually help you lose weight over time. Now you're probably thinking the same thing to yourself that I'm thinking, which is that is complete bullshit. That doesn't actually make sense. And unfortunately, you're right, but that doesn't stop the marketing departments from doing that. So what I want to do with creatine today is take that same kind of look, because I'm sure we're more than aware that there's a lot of research out there that shows creatine has a great benefit to us. You know, it increases your strength, your ATP, it helps you hold more water in your muscles to make you look bigger, all this stuff. And we focus on those main benefits, but what we don't take a look at is the actual numbers that it provides, meaning is it actually worth it to supplement in? Are these numbers so small, maybe like the 5 calories we just talked about with the gum, that it really wouldn't make a difference if we added it in because we wouldn't really see results? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So what I'm going to do for this case is reference a meta-analysis. And for those of you that don't know what a meta-analysis is, it's when you take a study that takes a look at a bunch of studies and takes a look at their conclusions and pulls it together to come to one common solution, so to say. So that's what we're going to do. And this particular meta-analysis I'm linking is going to include 22 different studies done on creatine, so you can find that linked in the description box below. Now, there's 2 really great things about this meta-analysis I'm including. Number 1, it was done on resistance-trained individuals, meaning those people actually lift. And I say this, and you might think it's stupid and it's kind of a foregone conclusion, but oftentimes when people reference certain studies, if you look at the context of the people that they're testing, they're older, they're sick, they have diseases, there's something not necessarily as comparable to who we are as individuals. So you always want to make sure you look at a good sample in that case. The second thing is that they're actually people. And again, this might sound like a no-brainer, but oftentimes when people send me studies to try to conflict a point that I'm saying, it's done on rats or it's done on bugs in the case if we're dealing with something like ectosterone. So you really want to make sure the sample size is appropriate to what you're trying to figure out. So that's really key here. And this study does that, which is great. So again, it's 22 different studies, and they kind of pooled all the findings together. And what they found was that individuals who took creatine versus a placebo group, when they were tested for their max, as far as 1 reps, 3 reps, and 10 reps go, they found the placebo group was able to increase their actual weight by about 12%, which is pretty good. So for example, if they lifted 225 for their 1 rep max before, their new max would be 27 pounds higher, which is pretty good. However, if you take a look at the creatine group, they saw an increase of 20%, which ends up being roughly 45 pounds. So comparing the placebo group of a 27-pound increase versus the creatine group of a 45% increase, that's almost 20 pounds we're talking, which in my opinion is extremely significant, especially if you've been lifting for any length of time. 20 pounds would be a great increase in my opinion. So that's the first thing I wanted to point out. The second portion of this meta-analysis, what they took a look at was max repetitions when lifting a certain percentage of their body weight. So let's say they used 200 pounds and they did as many reps as possible. So they took a look at the placebo group and they took a look at the creatine group. Now the placebo group was still able to increase their repetitions, in this case 12%. So that makes this kind of easy, as we can just think of 12% in either kind of category we're looking at. The creatine group, however, was able to increase 26% their max repetitions of that given weight. Now in this case, the numbers don't actually show as much. It ends up being about 1 rep more, but if you're like me and you're a big fan of Big J and one more, 1 rep makes a big difference. So as far as this study goes, is creatine actually worth it? According to this meta-analysis, I would put all my money on yes it is. Again, we're talking about severe increases in overall strength output, as well as more repetitions, which hopefully we know by now over time, with time under tension, that's really how we grow and get stronger. So take a look at the meta-analysis. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you take this same kind of approach with other supplements out there. You'll find this oftentimes in fat burning type supplements. Take a look at the numbers they actually provide, and you might find it's not worth it. So in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.